Live video. Hello Facebook, how is everybody? I hope you are really well on this Wellbeing Wednesday. Welcome back to my studios. I'm here and I've got some recipe testing to do, which is often what we do here in the studios. And we've got a new recipe that's going up on the website, which is for an autumn salad, because salads are not just for summer. No, they're for all year round. And my team have asked if I will take a picture that we can put onto the website a bit later. So I thought, do you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it live. I'm just going to adjust Facebook very slightly. Bring that down a little bit. And also for YouTube as well. Hello, how is everybody? I hope you are well on this lovely sunny day. I'm sorry the format doesn't completely work. Let me just push that back a little bit. Let's just see if we can get that as a better picture. Yes, I know that I'm going to have to kind of hold things up so that Facebook can see. So today we've got Amy back in the house on Facebook. Hi Amy, how are you? I hope you had a really good bank holiday weekend. Hope everybody's feeling refreshed and revitalised. Who's gone back to school? Yes, big result. One of mine's gone, so that's good. 2 more to go. Hi there, hi Marion, hi Politis, hi Kerry, very nice to see you. So the recipe that I'm going to be doing today is going to look a little bit like this. It's one of my favourites. It's got fresh spinach, it's got goat's cheese, it's got toasted hazelnuts, which I just think are very kind of autumny and give a really lovely crunch to salads. A really nice fresh yoghurt dressing, a little bit of Manuka honey going on there, a little bit of apple, and it's just delicious. So this is going to be my lunch. So if you'd like to cook along with me, I'm going to be answering questions as well. I put a call out on my Instagram a little bit earlier saying if you have questions then let me know, because it's Wellbeing Wednesday, so I'm really happy to chat about a few things. So let me just answer a couple of those here. This is from Jeanette on Instagram saying, hi Liz, I was wondering if you use mince in any of your recipes, i.e. for a classic dish like cottage pie, spaghetti bolognese, or is this something you wouldn't use? I would definitely use mince. I use a lot of mince. So yes, absolutely. What I tend to do is if I'm making a cottage pie or spag bol or something like that, is I will use extra veggies. So I'll use maybe 2/3 the amount of mince in a recipe, and then I'll use something like grated carrot and courgette and just other things. If you like parsnips, you can put those in. Personally, I'm not a parsnips fan, so they don't go into my recipes, but there are lots of things that you can put in to kind of sneak in veggies to give extra nutritional value into recipes and classic dishes. But yeah, absolutely, mince is a complete staple. Another question here on recipes. This is from the Dara Girl, then Dara Girl on Instagram. Hi there, hope you're watching. Who says, have you got any suggestions for recipes with pears? Yeah, pears are great in salad actually. This is a dish that you could do here with, instead of using apples, you could use pears. I love pears and cheese. Don't you love that combo? Pears and cheese, yes. Very autumny. I was looking at my pear tree just the other day and thinking, those pears are nearly ready. So I was looking in my yearbook too, because I have got 2 of my favourite. I tend to put my favourite recipes into my books, so they tend to be more of my kind of classic ones. And if you've got your yearbook too, I know loads of you have got this already. If I just look up pears here, because there are 2 recipes I want to share with you. One is the Pear and Bay Cake. Amy, I think we might have that recipe online as well. Let's just check. That's on page 94 of your book. I do still have these, by the way, so if you want your signed copy, then you can grab one. This is just lovely. Look at that. Doesn't that look spectacular? That's Pear and Bay, and the pears in there are used in the filling. So this is a filling, if you can see it, it's like a sandwich cake with that delicious pear filling. And to make the filling, I have used 3 pears, peeled, cored and chopped, and that's with a little bit of soft brown sugar and 3 bay leaves crushed and some lemon juice. Absolutely brilliant. So that's making the filling, and then there's like a butter and bay frosting that goes in there as well. Absolutely delicious. And then it's a really simple cake mixture, and I think what works really well is the combination of the bay leaves, the bay herb with pears works really well together. So that's a sensational recipe if you've got lots of pears to use up. And the other one is another really, really good pudding recipe, which is on page 170. And I will share this one with you as well. This is really nice. This is my kind of autumn dinner party recipe. So if you've got people coming for supper or for Sunday lunch or something, then this would be a really good one. This is roasted pears with a ginger caramel sauce. Look at that. Yum! I want to eat that right now. And this is basically, you are roasting pears. So you put those in an oven-proof baking dish, a little bit of melted butter with some vanilla extract. Vanilla and pears obviously is a real classic. A little bit of maple syrup maybe for extra sweetness, and so they caramelise really well. And then you use some grated ginger root. That's another real favourite of mine, particularly coming into the winter months. Ginger is a lovely warming spice to use, with a little bit of cinnamon. And cinnamon is really interesting. I've talked about cinnamon before because it's been shown to help regulate blood sugars, and it's also reputedly antiviral. So it has really interesting properties when you look up the benefits, health benefits of cinnamon. So this, once you've caramelised your delicious pears, spiced pears, I have put those on a bed of, yes, yoghurt, plain live yoghurt, and of course a bit of kefir. I had my yoghurt and kefir this morning actually. It's just such a great combo, isn't it? Who's making their own ferments now from the Good Gut box? Have you tried the Bulgarian yoghurt yet? Oh my days, that is so good. Lots of you agreeing with me, saying it's the best yoghurt you have ever tasted. That's still available. So that's the collaboration that I did with Freshly Fermented. I put together 6 of my favourite ferments. So you've got your kombucha, your water kefir, your milk kefir grains, your yogurts. What else is in there? Oh, the turmeric bug is in there. Really delicious things. So really good to get that going. So there, I hope that has helped. And talking about kombucha, because you also get a SCOBY in your Good Gut box. This is from Margaret. Really interesting question. Thanks, Margaret, on Instagram. And you say, hi Liz, can you carbonate kombucha? Does it have a natural fizz anyway? Well, yes, it does. It is naturally fizzy because it's fermenting. I've never tried. If you've got one of those like SodaStream machines, you could try carbonating it. It is quite active, so you have to be careful. It doesn't kind of just fizz everywhere. But yeah, why not? Give it a go. I was looking at, I remember seeing some experiment. Who was it? I think, was it maybe Heston Blumenthal or one of those kind of chefs that does all those experiments? And he got some plain, inexpensive white wine and he carbonated it through a soda machine and turned into, champagne. How cool is that? So I'm definitely going to give that a try as well. So yeah, if you've got one of those fizzy machine makers, let me know. I would love to hear your comments. Now, a few extra questions coming in here, which I will get round to because there's some really interesting ones. So thank you for those. Couple of comments about my shirt. So this is a classic. It's a really old favourite of mine. I don't know how long I've had this for, but they still make it. It's Marks and Spencer's. It's the M&S collection, so it's their basic one. And what I like is it's fitted, so it's got a really nice shape. It's got a tiny bit of stretch in it, so it kind of works with you as you move around. I like the neckline. I like the V-neck. I've got my vest on, obviously. Listened to my mother this morning. It's a bit chilly today here in South London, so got my vest on underneath. And what I like about this, if you're wearing it for work, although it's quite a deep neck, it has what they call, I think, a modesty button. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's got its buttons here, normal buttons, and then there's one that's concealed here, just to give you just that extra little bit of security. You know how sometimes you can get a bit of gaping, especially if things are quite snugly fitted. And I've done that trick that Lily showed me about folding back the cuff twice. Do you remember I showed you that? That's basically where you take the cuff and you fold it back one really generous width like that, and then you just tuck the bottom bit in, and that gives you a kind of a crisper, neater look that then doesn't unravel. So there you go. If you're watching, Lil, I do take your style advice seriously. And of course it's pink, and I just think pink is a flattering colour for all skin tones. You know, you can be really pale, really dark, and just pink seems to bounce light back up into the skin and make us look fresh and glowing. Oh, thank you, Amy. You popped a link to my shirt from Marks and Spencer's because it's sometimes so hard to find, isn't it? They've just got so many things. There's also a link on Linktree for any of you on Instagram. Anybody new watching, welcome to my world of well-being. If you're on Instagram, you'll find links to everything I talk about, recipes, podcasts, ideas, shirts. All of that will be in the blue Linktree link that is on my main bio, the main biography for me on Instagram. Facebook, of course, is much easier because we can link. If you are on YouTube, then we can't directly link on YouTube, but what we do is we've got a new section now on the website, Liz Earle Wellbeing website, called Liz Loves. It's right up there at the top. It's a whole heading of its own, Liz Loves, because we've got so many things now from months and months of doing these little broadcasts, and that's split into different sections. So we've got Liz Loves to Wear. So if you think, if you're watching any of my previous videos or thinking, oh, that's a nice dress or that's a nice top, if you pop onto Liz Loves to Wear, chances are you'll find it, and you may even find it with a Liz Loves discount code, which is really good. And then lots of other things that I talk about, supplements and fitness and all those kinds of things. They're all now collected in one section of the website. So hopefully you will always be able to find everything. And of course, all the links to podcasts. We're on a new series. There's a new podcast going up today. We've got great podcasts, had lots and lots of feedback from people that I've been podcasting with. Last week was Alice Hart Davis talking about tweakments, which I thought was fascinating. The other one that I've been re-listening to, I've been playing it in the car actually several times over, is the professor of neurology from Stanford, Daniel Levitin, who was talking about the aging brain and how we can better protect ourselves from Alzheimer's. So that's a really fascinating one to listen to. Just spotted a question here on Facebook that's come up. Hi Liz, from Amanda. How can I flavour my kombucha with ginger? Okay, so what I would do with that, you can do it two ways. You can either do it during the brewing process, so you can add in some sliced ginger roots kind of right at the beginning so that you get those gingery flavours infusing, or you can infuse it literally in the glass if you want to make just some ginger kombucha. And what I do with ginger, you can either use a slice of ginger, or I actually press my ginger through a garlic crusher. I've got this here for my salad recipe, but you can pop a little bit of peeled ginger root in your garlic press and press that through, and then just add that to your current brew, and that will give it a nice bit of flavour. Anyway, let's crack on with this recipe. So this is a toasted hazelnut autumn recipe, and I'm going to start by just frying off a few chopped onions. I love to use red onions, so I've got some finely chopped red onions here. I'm going to have to turn my back on you for just a moment. Excuse me. I don't know if you can still hear me over here, but I've got my gas on. I'm going to grab some olive oil. This is the one that I'm using at the moment. It's called the Governor. It's such a delicious, really good olive oil, and I do think that there is a 10% discount with Liz Loves on that as well. So I'm going to pop a little bit of that in my pan. And olive oil is a really good oil to cook with. Not only has it got quite a high stable smoke point for cooking, but it also has lots of polyphenols, and it's the polyphenols that also help to protect the oil when you heat it. So don't worry about heating olive oil, it is a good one. And then I'm going to cook these, in they go. Give those a bit of a stir. And then while they soften, I will just crush a little bit of garlic. So I've got my garlic clove here. And find a knife for that. Garlic again is just one of those really interesting foods that has medicinal property. Obviously a lot of people can take garlic capsules. Coming into the winter months, that might be something that you can consider. I know the Naked Pharmacy, which is a great pharmacy that I've talked about before, with supplements like saffron, which I am taking. I take my 2 saffron capsules every morning now. They have an aged garlic, which is really interesting, and I'd like to get the founder actually back on to talk to me about that, because I did a fascinating little chat with him. I think it was a Friday 5, and we talked all about the benefits of saffron, which is a crocus extract, really helpful for sleep and anxiety. So, and interestingly, don't take it at bedtime. You might think, oh, I need it to help me sleep, I'm going to take it at bedtime. But because of the way our circadian rhythms work, the studies show that actually if you take saffron in the morning, 2 capsules in the morning, which is what I take, you sleep better in the evening. So I don't know how that works, but it works. So I'm going to add in my garlic. Give that a good stir. That's already softening really nicely actually, because the pan's quite hot. So that will continue to cook down. You just want to lightly, just take the edge off the rawness really. See, did remember to turn it off this time. You haven't got to shout at me and wave at me. You've left the gas on. Oh, I love the smell of that, don't you? I mean, it always brings kids into the kitchen. You know, when I start to just fry up a few onions and garlic, that lovely home cooking smell just goes through the kitchen and the rest of the house really quickly, and it's like a clarion call to everybody to come and gather because something good is being cooked. So I've got those, and then I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of thyme. So I've got some fresh thyme. I find that thyme works well with savoury dishes. Hazelnuts go really well with thyme, and goat's cheese. And then it's kind of a matter of compiling it all together, getting all these great ingredients together. So let me show you what they are. I've got a clean dish here to put these together. So I'm going to use some baby spinach, just some fresh washed baby spinach leaves here. So I'm just going to pop those as a base. I don't think I cooked those. Let me just check. Got my printout of my recipe here. Am I cooking these? Am I stirring these in? Yeah, toss in the spinach once you've taken it off the heat. So it's just kind of wilting it a little bit. So let me do that. Oops. Let me pop those in there. Just to wilt those down a little bit. Actually, they're quite moist because they've already got a little bit of water on them where they've been rinsed. So those are just softening and being tossed in the garlic and the onions. And then I'm going to use roasted hazelnuts. So this, again, just gives the hazelnuts a real crispness and brings out their depth of flavour. So I've just bought ordinary hazelnuts here, just like that in a packet. And I've roasted them in a hot oven just for a few minutes. Watch them like a hawk because they burn so quickly. You need to be really careful. You don't want to have burnt nuts. No, we talked about that on Monday, didn't we? The dangers of burning your nuts. Not a good thing. And I'm sure we can get a cream for it anyway. But that's another story. We're not going to go there today, are we? Honestly, talking about burning things, you see on my stories, I made my Florentines. I don't know if anybody made those delicious chocolate-coated Florentine biscuits for the bank holiday. And of course I had extra mixture, so I was making them and I got distracted, as you do. And then I came back into the kitchen. I thought, what is that burning smell? And of course there were these little totally black, like completely blackened charcoal biscuits. Anyway, luckily I did have a bit more mixture to make another batch. And they were so good. Oh, so delicious. I have to ration those because they really do taste excellent. I think that's a recipe also from Yearbook 2, by the way. Right, so I'm going to pop these into... am I going to put them on my plate, or am I going to crumble the goat's cheese? Do you know, I think I might crumble the goat's cheese just to toss that through. So I'm using a goat log. So, oh, look at that. You can see how ripe it is. It's kind of running off the paper already. So good. Goat's cheese, full of protein. It's quite digestible. The little fat molecules tend to be smaller than cow's milk cheeses. So a lot of people find that goat's milk or sheep's milk cheeses are more easily digested. So let me get my chopping board and my knife. What should I do with my knife? That's here. And I'm going to use, this recipe actually calls for, how much does it call for? It calls for 100 grams of goat's cheese. You could use any goat's cheese that you fancy, or you could use feta if you wanted to crumble that in. Oh, this just looks epic. This make is, oops, let me just see what that goat's cheese is. It is, it's called Driftwood. Great name, Driftwood. And it's made by White Lake Cheeses in Somerset. There you go. Driftwood, and it says it's a firm ash-coated soft goat's cheese with a silky smooth texture, becoming full-bodied with age. Know the feeling. Right. I'm going to chop this up and pop that into my warm salad. I really like warm salads, actually. I think it's a really great way to step into the new season by having a hot salad. You know, salads are not just for summer. They're great kind of one pot dishes that you can make all year round. Winter salads too, I think, are really a nice thing. And just such a quick, easy lunch or simple supper dish. You've got lots of great nutrition going on here. You've got your garlic and onions, really good, prebiotic, very good for gut health. You've got your baby spinach, incredibly nutritious. You've got your good fats here going on from goat's cheese. If you wanted a vegan option, you could use tofu, obviously. Right, I'm going to pop that on here. And then I'm also, actually, do you know what? I think I'm going to mix it all together in the pan just because it's going to be easier. Give my hands a bit of a wipe. Because then you're also going to use apple. So lots of apples coming into season at the moment. If you've got apple trees, it's probably really getting ready to pick. And I'm going to use, I couldn't actually find any Braeburn apples. So Braeburn apples are the British ones that I wanted to use for this recipe, but these are very similar. This is Pink Lady. So you just need this lovely kind of red skinned apple. And I have just, you don't peel it, you use the peel. Because that's where most of the vitamins are, obviously on the surface of the apple. And so I've just chopped those into nice bite-sized chunks. So that's going to go cheese and apple. Oh, can't beat it, can you? It's a combination, really. And of course you've got the thyme in there as well, which is just helping to bring all those flavours together. So I'm going to mix those all in like that. Pop it onto my plate. You could obviously have it cold if you want as a cold salad. You could make it in advance and then keep it and serve it later, or you could have it as a warm salad. Oh, it's making me so hungry. This is going to be my brunch dish just as soon as this is over. And I'm going to then pop on some hazelnuts. So these are my toasted hazelnuts. I might just give those a bit of a chop, actually. I think they will give a little bit of extra crunch if I just chop them up, just rough chop. So I'll do those here. Just kind of, once you kind of cut down, they fall into 3 or 4 pieces, hazelnuts. They're quite obliging in that way. And keep the shells as well, not the hard shells obviously, but the skins, because that's also giving you extra fibre, which is a good thing. A little bit of good gut health going on here. Lots of you have got my Good Gut Guide book. Well done on getting that. We had the special offer over the bank holiday. I'm sorry we sold out. Such a popular book, that one, but you can get it on Amazon. And actually, just to say, I didn't know this, but if you buy books not on Amazon, i.e. if you buy them from me directly, because you want them signed, then you can still leave a review on Amazon, which I didn't realise, which is always really helpful. And I do love that. So thank you to all those of you who have left reviews already. Nearly there with these hazelnuts. I think I've got about 50 grams of hazelnuts here. So that's going to be scattered onto my dish. So let's scatter those on. Oh, yummy. And then lastly, I'm going to make a simple dressing. I mean, you could have it just like that without the dressing if you wanted, but this actually is a really useful autumn salad dressing that you just might like to do anyway, anytime. I've already pre-mixed this. It's really simple just to put it together. And it is basically plain live yogurt. You need to get the live yogurt so you get the probiotic activity. Very good for gut health. And I've sweetened it with a little bit of Manuka honey. So I got a little bit of natural honey here. And then a little bit of lemon juice and lemon zest, just to kind of bring the dressing all together. A little bit of salt and pepper. And that's basically it. Let me just give that a taste, just to make sure that that's... Oh, that's so good. You can really taste the tang of the lemon. It's quite lemony. To remind myself of the exact proportions here. So here I've got 250 grams of plain live yogurt, 2 tablespoons of Manuka honey. This is actually making quite a lot of dressing, so you might want to scale it down a bit. A whole lemon and its zest and its juice. That's why it's so zesty. Gosh, I'm going to have to get another clean spoon. Have another bit of that because that is really, really good. And a little bit of honey. So natural yogurt, Manuka honey or regular honey, lemon zest and juice, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Oh, dreams. So I'm not actually going to dress this salad because I'm going to have it later, and if you dress salads too much in advance they can go all a bit kind of limp. So I'm going to keep that one. But this is one that I made earlier with its dressing on. Really good. Yeah, so you could have, I mean, that is a meal in itself. You could have it as a side dish, or you could have that as a meal in itself. So I'm going to be photographing this. I'll probably photograph this one because it's got the dressing on and it looks very beautiful. And adding that to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website a little bit later on with, of course, the full ingredient list and all the very simple instructions. So if you want to catch that later, that will be up online. Now, let me go back to my list of questions because we've had lots in today. And we've got questions here from... Just log back in. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is from Debbie on Instagram, who says, can you talk about your views on cholesterol? I'm keen to avoid taking statins if possible. Very interesting question. I'm actually going to be doing a podcast recording tomorrow with a very eminent cardiologist, Dr. Asim Malhotra. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. And he has written a lot on this subject. So I actually want to talk to him. He's written a new book about immunity and COVID. So I want to talk to him specifically about that. But when I was researching him, I realised that he's also a passionate anti-statins campaigner and obviously quite controversial, but he's got a very interesting website. I think it's drasimmalhotra.com. And he wrote a book with a diet which is all about how to balance your cholesterol. Because actually cholesterol is not the bad thing. We need cholesterol. Our bodies make our own cholesterol. So it's all about getting the right balance. And he wrote a book called the PIOP diet. PIOP diet, is that how you pronounce it? And I think, Amy, you can probably pop a link to that, can't you? Because I did find it on Amazon if you want to take a look at that. And it's all about having very low sugars and good quality fats that will actually benefit your cholesterol levels so that your cholesterol regulates. And I think it's fascinating, and I think there's a lot that we're told, about cholesterol that's not correct. And so it's something that is definitely worth looking into. I think one of the issues with statins, as far as I can see from reading the literature, is that they tend to take out our coenzyme Q10, which is a really important nutrient for energy. So that's why a lot of people who do take statins just say that they get achy joints and they feel very lethargic. And it may be that their levels of coenzyme Q10 are lowered. So anyway, he's written a lot about that, so it's definitely worth following. I also follow him on Twitter. He tweets quite a lot, and that's always quite useful because he'll tweet links to various studies and other doctors working in the same area. So fascinating. So if any of you are on Twitter, you can always take a look at my Twitter feed. I'm Liz Earle Me, and then you can see who I'm following, and his name will definitely pop up. And I occasionally retweet some of the things that he does because he's also very much into high fat, low carb. So he's passionately anti-sugar, and for so many reasons. And as you know, I'm sure through reading a lot of my recipes and the things that I do here at Liz Earle Wellbeing, I try and always keep the sugars really low. I mean, that's why I like drinking things like kombucha, because the fermentation process takes out the vast majority of the sugar. So you end up drinking essentially a soft fizzy drink, but it doesn't have any of the sugars in it, because fizzy drinks are just some of the worst things for spiking our blood sugars. They contain so much sugar and we just gulp them down and we create that sudden surge of insulin, and sugar has been linked to inflammation and all sorts of things. So all the things that we're really keenly aware of now, I think, especially as we move into the autumn and winter months, and we want to keep our immunity high. So let's do that with as much food as we can. Oh, I've just seen a notification on my phone, so I shall just close that. Oh, thanks, Amy. So you popped a link up there about the Piopi book. I think there's also a link on Instagram, so if you fancy checking it out. But as I say, I'm going to be chatting to him tomorrow. I'm going to be recording that, and I will pop that into my Friday 5. So I am going to record, hopefully, all things being equal, I will record my Friday 5 podcast, and that will go out obviously on Friday. So yeah, if you're interested in that, do take a listen. This is from Dragonfly, who says, any advice on teeth staining or whitening? Yeah, we did do a whole feature in the magazine. I think it was two editions ago on teeth whitening and the things that you can do and the things that you should be doing. Obviously, things like tea, coffee, red wine, they're all going to stain teeth, so it's worth brushing your teeth a little bit more regularly if you're a regular drinker of those things. But if you haven't got that issue and you haven't read that, you can get back issues obviously on Readly. This is something I've talked about before, but it's just such a simple way to get back issues of most of my magazines. So you subscribe to a month of Readly, and you get a month free actually if you use the link that I know Amy will probably pop on. I think we've got it on Linktree as well. But that does mean that you can read all the back issues and some of these features that we've got there. So that's certainly worth looking at. And talking about writing, this is from Woo Anderson. Hi. You say, hi Liz, just want to say I find you inspirational. Well, thank you very much. I've learnt a lot from you. I was wondering what your next book will be about. Are you in the process of writing anything at the moment? The second half was mentioned by you at one point. I would so love, that is a book I'm so longing to write, all about how to have a better second half. Because I feel that particularly as women, if you get your hormones right, you get your gut health right, you look after your mental health, your fitness, there's no reason why the second half of our lives can't be even better than the first half. That's my goal anyway, and I would love to bring all the information, all the things I talk about, and put it all together in one book. Haven't had a lot of time for that right now. I think maybe when all my kids are back at school and unis have restarted and all of that, then yeah, there's that book that I'd love to do, absolutely for sure. Of course, people are asking about yearbook 3. It's not going to happen anytime soon. It may happen next year, I don't know, but for now, please be happy with yearbook 1 and 2. And we are looking at ways actually of making yearbook 1 available potentially online, because I know we did sell out the printed edition. And then also another book that I have started, and I'm not quite sure when I'm going to be able to finish it, is a business book, because obviously somebody who's founded several brands, I have learnt a lot over the years about business, life and pitfalls, what to watch out for, particularly when people don't behave very well in business, as well as the successes. And I think with more of us becoming more entrepreneurial and looking at different ways of changing our business, I think there's quite a lot there that can be talked about. And I've also been asked to do my autobiography. But I'm not quite ready for that, I don't think. I think I want to do a bit more living first. So that is a long answer to a quick question, Woo. There will be more books probably next year, but for now, it's been such a time of change, obviously, for so many of us, and I'm obviously doing more of my broadcasts now. I've gone back onto This Morning. I'm filming mini-series for them now, which is taking quite a lot of time. Doing my podcast more regularly, obviously focusing on the magazine, keeping that going. Yes, keeping it going. We're not in retail, so just a reminder, this is the time, beginning of the month, when you would go out into the shops and find the new copy. Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine is not available in the shops anymore. It's purely on subscription. We have printed it. It does exist, but you have to subscribe to get it. And we did print a few more extra copies of the September-October issue, which is really beautiful. I'll be talking a little bit more about that on Friday. But if you want to get it, you're going to have to be reasonably quick on that, because we didn't want to print loads and loads of copies and have them go to waste. So we just printed a few extra for kind of latecomers who would like to take out a subscription, which you can still do, by the way, and get your free issue and free P&P and your £10 Neil's Yard voucher. But I think there's only a very few of those remaining, so don't hang about if you want one of those. Excellent. So I just wanted to share with you before I go, being a Wellbeing Wednesday, I wanted to do just a tiny bit on skin and well-being because I got sent this new thing. So this was sent to me as a press sample from Beauty Pie, and it's ceramides, which are really interesting ingredients to help support the skin and just give a real kind of moisture boost, which I think is so useful at this time of year. Central heating's going on, we're more likely to light a fire, and our skin desiccates, it dries out. The only difference between a plum and a prune is basically the moisture that's dried from it. And I just thought this was really neat. It's a little kind of roller, and it just delivers ceramides onto the skin when you rub it on. It's really light. And can you see there? It's got these little kind of rollerball applications. So you just rub it around the eyes. And of course, this is a really good technique because it's tracking the lymphatics. So if you wake up with puffy eyes, or you don't get a good night's sleep, or you've been a bit teary, and your eyes are puffy, then actually using this around the lymphatic area, and you can kind of start from the inner corner here and just work up. Use the orbital socket, the eye socket around here. You can just stroke, just feels really soothing. And then just very gently track under the eye and round. And you can do that actually. Sometimes I do that if my eyes are really puffy. I just take an ice cube and wrap that in a cotton hanky or a cloth and just rub that around the eyes. And again, the coldness as well as the action is really, really soothing for the eyes. Anyway, I just thought that was a really clever little neat gadget, because you're delivering your ceramides to the skin as well as doing that kind of physical manual action. There you go. And don't forget, if you're not a member of Beauty Pie already, then you get a free month's membership if you use Liz Loves. I know, Amy, you'll pop a link if anybody has yet to do that. It's really good. And Beauty Pie, of course, was founded by Marcia Kilgore. I podcasted with her. She's a brilliant entrepreneurial woman. She's very straight talking. And and there's also an interview with her in the new issue of the magazine because I just think she's fab. So anyway, that was that. And I don't know how much it is. I can't remember, but it's not as much as it would be if it was on proper retail sale, because the way Beauty Pie works is they just charge you the actual cost of the item. Once you've joined, you've got your monthly membership, which is like £10 a month. Then you buy everything at cost price. And this is just great. I'm using a lot of that. I think this colour, it's called Go Rouge. I've got on my cheeks. It's just a blush that I use all the time. Just pop it on over my face and it just kind of makes me look a bit more healthy and glowy. Anyway, so that was that I wanted to share. So before I head off, I have had a few lovely emails in. So thank you very much for those. This was quite interesting. This was from Jennifer, who emailed to say, your podcast with Daniel about the aging process was very interesting, Liz, especially the bit about sleep and how it's so important to us. Yeah, really interesting, wasn't it? If you haven't listened to that podcast with Daniel Levitin, do take a listen, because it really made me think, and it really made me think about protecting my sleep even more. You know that I'm a bit fanatical when it comes to sleep. I use my slumber drops every night, my Life Armour slumber drops. Again, you've got Liz Love's discount on those. I think they're great. They really help me. There we go. Who is this from? This is from Zoe, saying, hi Liz and all at the Wellbeing team. I know you like a little feedback. Yes, we do. So I just wanted to let you know that I've ordered and received my Good Gut box. Absolutely love it. Still getting the hang of my new love of fermenting. Milk kefir I seem to have mastered. Water kefir made. Although it tastes quite sweet, I'm worried I'm just drinking sugary water. No, it is naturally quite sweet, to be honest. And you are getting the probiotics in there, so you are getting a good, healthy bit of gut bug activity going on there. Kombucha brew is on and brewing. Turmeric drink is on today's plan. I do love that. I've got to make some more of my turmeric bug, and my kids love that too. She says that there was a problem with the turmeric bug being unsealed, so it spilt in the box, but I contacted Freshly Fermented, who responded almost immediately with apology and an explanation. All was rectified very swiftly, and professionally their customer service was amazing. That's great to hear. Thank you. It's always good to know, because inevitably with life there will be issues, won't there? It's how you handle them that's really important. then it says, mistakes and issues can happen. It's life. Well, there you go. Thank you. I've just repeated that. Once I've mastered my current ferments, I will be ordering more from Freshly Fermented to continue my journey. Loving it. Great collaboration. What are you doing next? Exclamation mark. I do have a couple of things, a couple of ideas going on. We're actually going to relaunch the Liz Earle Wellbeing Shot Box. That was a collaboration that we did earlier in the year with the Healthy Juice Company, which I know lots of you loved. And these are 3 really healthy shots, including turmeric and ginger. There's an amazing green juice. There's the almond chia, almond milk. I mean, it's all really delicious, good stuff. And actually, I must, note to self, I must order another box so I can show you maybe on Friday or maybe next week. Because, yeah, I found that really helpful, that collaboration. This is from Liz Salkeld, who says, I really hope you're going to be able to keep printing the magazine because I prefer a physical magazine to digital. The magazine is beautiful and informative and I love it, in capital letters. Many thanks to Liz and team. Yes, absolutely, is the short answer. I will, walk over hot coals to make sure that we are able to continue printing the magazine. But of course, it is only subscription, so we've got to have subscribers to be able to print it. But hopefully that is happening. So hearts to all of my lovely subscribers. Thank you. And this was from Andrea, who says, thank you, Liz, for all the years of fabulous tips and products. I remember the first day when you appeared on Richard and Judy's this morning. It changed our lives. Thank you. In brackets, I lived in the UK for 46 years before coming here to Budapest. Well, hi, Andrea in Budapest. I hope you're watching. Yeah, I can't believe it. I was on the launch show of This Morning, and this November, that will be 32 years ago. I mean, how can that be? I was obviously a really, really small child at the time. It's bizarre, isn't it? Actually, I was younger than Lily when I started. It's just, I have to find some of the very old pictures and show you because they are quite funny. But yeah, and here I am back on This Morning. So my new mini-series, all about wellbeing, starts, I think, the middle of the month. We've filmed the first 3 little episodes and they're currently being edited. So I will give you plenty of notice as to when to watch that. I hope you all love it. And yeah, there we go. So thank you, all of those. I just wanted to send a lot of love to Ellie Melly Moo on Insta. I did read your message and my heart goes out to you. And that's Eleanor. And I want to send you personal love, sincerely. Great, that is it for today. Thank you for being with me. Let me know if you cook the recipe. Watch out for it online. We're about to take a photograph of it and post that. There'll be lots more going on Instagram, of course, behind the scenes. I will be back with you live on Friday, probably back on my farm. We'll see how the week goes, with lots more treats. Do drop me a line. hq@lizearlewellbeing.com is the email. You can obviously leave messages and comments on Facebook. Thank you very much. I should pick those up later. And obviously on Instagram, I don't do direct message, but I do look at the comments and I will be looking at those and responding to as many as I can a bit later on. Anyway, for now, sending you lots of love on this Wellbeing Wednesday. Go well. Take care. Bye-bye.